This is the best shirt. This is the only shirt that fits me the way I want all my shirts to fit me, which is like that. That's how all shirts should wear. Thank you, Izzy. Okay, what's up guys? Welcome to my desk. Let me put my leg down. Doing a little vlog. I have congee for breakfast and a coffee in my beautiful, beautiful Spudfuckers mug. Love her. I have some schoolwork I have to do. I have some laundry I have to do, clean my room, get ready to watch Gladlands, just doing the stuff. So let's go. About the 1980 French election that was like a left party won in the through the lens, the perspective of Gramsci, but since they're talking about French people in this book, all I can think about is the fucking old white French DoorDash driver I had the other day, who couldn't find my building. And like, to be honest, in almost every case, I'm very like, hey, they're doing a hard job that is because of fucking capitalism and no one wants to do it, and it's helping me. But bro, my building isn't fucking hard to find, and this dude couldn't find it. I had to go outside in my comfy, and it was embarrassing, and so. But Gramsci, read Gramsci. I'm gonna do a little book report after, don't worry. The chapter laid out two roads to neoliberalism: the hegemonic Thatcher route proposed by Gramsci, or the non-hegemonic French Socialist Party route proposed by the authors. Hegemony in this case refers to political direction on the part of the party's leadership that affects the cultural, moral, and cognitive aspects of the public, not just the working class. Looking back on the Obama years, I would describe the democratic behavior as taking a shift into stark neoliberal cultural, moral, and cognitive ideals. Specifically, I'm thinking of the contrast of the first Black president with drone striking Yemen, and how that moral boundary reflected onto the people. No, Obama was great, he brought change, we don't talk about the foreign policy stuff type of liberals. To shift to the non-hegemonic or fractured path, it was an easy comparison to the Dems in 2024. Obviously, it was not as drastic as promising socialism and ending on neoliberalism, which is what the French did in the 80s. But the promise of change that Kamala ensured was quickly overswept by a by very loud neoliberal ideals that fractured the party. A line that stuck out from the conclusion, quote, all the while, the government maintained its verbal commitment to socialism, eliciting popular reactions of disaffection and cynicism. While all examples of the stoop to neoliberalism involve a broken verbal commitment to the people, it is interesting how only the fractured examples provoke awareness and annoyance with the system. Okay, here are some things that I've done. I finished my homework. I watched some of Dason on Miles's podcast. Now I'm gonna get my laundry and then I'm gonna put it away, even though I don't want to. And then I'm gonna get food. Hopefully the deli is open. The deli is the best dining hall on campus. And there are these really, really nice women who work there. They're really nice. I love them. Welcome to what I get from the deli. Salami sandwich, toasted, cookie, pickle. Now note, I didn't steal any of this. I paid for all of it. So, look at her go. They do me right.
Is it salami?
Yeah. They put so much salami on it too. Like, it's so good.
Oh my gosh.
What up? I'm going to get food. I've just been doing more homework. Almost time to watch Gladlands. That's kind of it. Food haul. Okay, I'm not doing anything the rest of the night that is interesting enough to film. I'm just gonna lay in bed and watch YouTube. So I will see you all tomorrow. Tomorrow I have class, and then I have to film. I'll film my reaction, my kind of breakdown of the Dimension 20 episode after I watch the Adventuring Party. And then I'm gonna post the video, so bye. Up at 8:40, even though my alarm is at 7 and my class is at 10, so awesome. I'm so late for class. What's up? I'm back from class. I have like 2 hours between this class and my next one. And also I just fell off my bed, so awesome. Welcome to the stairwell. Let's talk about Gladlands episode 4. Hopefully no one will come in while I'm filming, and hopefully my iPad will not die. Let's get into it. The history heap fucking sucked. It was so scary. I literally wrote in my notes, the vibes are bad here. Some things I want to get out first. Number 1. The history heap has low creativity, low charm, high awareness. And so did Poppy / Herbie in this episode, because we saw that mechanical change between Poppy and Herbie. So good. Oscar ate it up. Low charm, low creativity, high awareness. This is very obviously reminiscent of academia and of, I would say that there's a certain like neoliberal like cynicism type of person that maybe that fits with as well. The gifts at the beginning of the episode, very amazing. I really love the way that they're combining mechanical boons with the story. They're doing a great job, and obviously the art team just is so fantastic. They are killing it. Then they went to the outpost, the hospital outpost, and they saw Dr. Knife. That was very crazy. Hoogie fell. It was interesting. But they got nurses for Rot Glob. That was such an amazing part of this episode. Being able to see a example of that sort of solidarity and communication between communities is really important. I think that's a really good example of what the caravan represents, and that is to bring all of these different communities together to maintain some sense of normalcy in the Gladlands. And I think that is an important, just an important thing to hold on to in general, but also when you're like organizing. Social movements a lot of the time are very cliquey, for lack of a better word, and there's not like communication between them, and then they don't work together and they split apart and there's not progress. So I think that was a really good example of like a really interesting concept that they showed. Oh, Allie as Quinn said, like within like a second of each other, I'm holding on by a thread and I'm getting better every day, and I've never related more. That was so fucking funny. I loved that. Okay, let's go back to History Heap proper. Obviously, Aunt Freaky, crazy character. Again, they're so good at combining like just like two tiny specific elements. Like someone has to reach up really high to get the books, and then they made the character physically elect to go through bone lengthening surgeries. So crazy. We got Herbie. We were introduced to Herbie, and it was interesting to see that the party was aware of this before, and like how they navigate that. On top of that, we had a 39 awareness roll from Herbie, which was insane. Allie had some Allie rolls. That was wild. There were a couple dice that blew up. That was like really necessary. And then, by the end of the episode, we had the Uncle Puss mention, and then we're going into what I'm assuming will be combat for at least Tess, but if the rest of the group can get there, I would assume that Tess would need help. So, super excited for a combat episode, if we're getting it. Adventuring Party, they talked about a couple things that I wanted to mention regarding like the episode and some of the things I talked about already. So like the difference between low charm as a survival tactic versus as just like being mean, because like they're in a context and environment in which it might be easier to have low charm and just tell like it is, be short about it. But also, when does that cross a line and need to be fixed or need to be adjusted in some way to maintain just like, again, what the caravan does, normalcy, ease in the Gladlands. And then connected to that, one of the reasons they brought up as to why History Heap is like this is that contrast between charm and creativity and awareness, that they have really high awareness, and then it's the importance of the task and how important my job is. And then when does that become more about self-importance, and what Brennan was talking about with like, it gets like addictive, that I need to be the most important or it doesn't feel right. And I think that can be applied very easily to politics, and it's a kind of core concept that should be kind of broken in political systems. Lastly, connecting that with what Vic talked about with Hughie, which was that death is really important. The reaction to death is really important. We saw in Rock Glob the way that they immortalized and memorialized the person in their town that died, connected to who he was as a person, changed how the town worked. Then with the flashback of Mooney, we saw that Mooney's death and absence obviously changed Aunt Freaky for some in a drastic way, and that then likely changed how the history heap operates and what issues are coming up now. And then with Hughie burnt out, how are they going to move forward from that? But also just talking about the importance of remembering, and like the reaction from deaths is literally what we're seeing right now in the US. Like, the only thing that could elicit a reaction from the general public is when people were killed by ICE on video, and nothing else could kind of like breach that for some reason, even though there were multiple large-scale social movements in the past like 10 years. So I thought that was really interesting that Vic brought that up. Obviously, we're staying in the history heap for the next episode. And then I didn't mention this, the Downscrapers and the Shakespeare lore drop. So we got that. I would personally love to see the Downscrapers. That just visually, oh my goodness, I want like a full season out there. That would be so cool to do. Like the excavation, it was such a cool visual. So that was awesome. It was a great episode. Excited for the next one. Okay, I'm done for class for the day. I'm going to a party tonight, so I'm gonna get ready for that. And then that's it. So, bye.